Well, hello, and welcome to the In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast, where the Vernon, Texas High School class of 1982 alumni come home to tell the stories that shaped us long after we left the halls of VHS. I'm Ray Gerald, and every episode I have the privilege of visiting with a fellow Vernon Lion to revisit our high school days in Big V and share moments, memories, and milestones that carried us from our Vernon roots to wherever life took us next. These are the real-life journeys of classmates that walked the same halls, cheered under the same Friday night lights, roamed the Lion's Den floor, dragged Wilbarger Street, and watched the same Vernon, Texas sky light up. Our stories always begin in Vernon. Go, Lions! Hey, everybody. On today's episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast, I have the pleasure of talking with Linda Fox Borchardt. Hey, Linda.
Hey, Ray, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. I think the last time we talked was at the 40th reunion at the football game.
I think that is correct. That is
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's
and
been a while.
it's been a while. We had a really good conversation about work and what we've been
Yeah,
doing. And a lot of
yeah,
people don't know what I've been doing, but you were very inquisitive about that, and I was curious about what you were doing. So that was kind of cool to get to know what you were doing.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us in this adventure. I'm just trying to, there's no rhyme or reason. In case people are wondering, there's no rhyme or reason as to how I picked certain people. I'm just trying to at random, and I am trying to get more females because it seems to be pretty
Okay.
male
A guy,
centric right now.
guy heavy, like you said the other
Yeah,
day. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
But
thanks.
regardless, I'm like the others who have said, I'm so glad you're doing this. It's really interesting to hear everyone's story since we graduated.
Yeah, I think they're very similar, and yet they're very different depending on the path that people have taken. I
Hmm.
think it's
Hmm.
very interesting to me, and so that's where my curiosity comes in. So what have people been up to? So
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
hopefully others have the other curiosity
yeah,
that I've. All
yeah.
right, so well, we'll jump right in. When you think of Vernon High School, what comes to mind? What people, places, or things come to mind for you?
Yeah, so much about high school I really, really enjoyed, and the groups of people. I think a word that I would use to describe is belonging, because it's like once you get out of that middle school age, you kind of find your people in high school, and you find your thing that you're interested in. As I've listened to the other guys who talked about the kind of the direction they took once they got into high school, VOAG or
Hmm.
band or whatever it was. And so it's kind of like in high school, you kind of find the things that you're interested in, and what the people that you want to hang out with. And so all the activities that we did in high school, yeah, I drill team and the weekends,
Hmm.
that was a lot of fun, lots of fun.
Okay. Yeah. What other activities or interests were you involved in?
Yeah, so besides drill team, which, when we were going through, we weren't allowed to actually join drill team until our sophomore year.
Oh.
And then, so our sophomore year, and so stayed with it and everything. So freshman year, it's kind of like figuring out where you want to go and what you want to join and everything.
Hmm.
But the other thing that I was involved in was speech and drama, not debate,
Hmm.
but I did speech and drama.
Hmm.
And I did that freshman year. Did the one act play through into our senior year.
Yeah.
And, that's one thing I remember about our senior year is that because all along in one act play and all drama, Barbara Jo Hughes was the drama director
Hmm.
and teacher. And so our senior year, she decided to retire. And so we had a new drama teacher that came on the scene. And I remember Angie Leishman and we did not, we didn't jive with our new drama teacher. And so when we had the one act play, we were going to district, and she and I, we said, because Angie was kind of the lead actress and I just had a small bit, but she and I, we said, okay, don't tell anybody, but let's just screw this up so that we don't have to go want to go and be with this new drama teacher anymore. And so I said, okay, I will if you will. So we screwed up our lines, and we didn't tell the others in the play, and they were like, "What are y'all doing? What's
I don't
happening
remember
here?"
that. I don't remember that
Anyway,
at all.
this was at the district contest, and at the end of it, Angie Leishman, she got Best Actress, and I got on the All-Star cast.
Did you?
Yeah, and
Wow.
so we had to go to regionals.
That's we had to go to regionals. I remember that. And I had my two lines, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that was fun. That regional trip that was really fun for me. And the thing is, because I was an actor, the guys that were the actors were maybe I'm thinking of junior year. I can't remember, but it must
Yeah.
have been our junior
I
year. I wasn't in
Okay.
the I wasn't in when I play our senior year. I don't think it was junior
Okay.
year.
Might have been junior year.
Yeah.
But I do remember you in our senior play.
Yeah, yeah, that's another story. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
you
another
in the
story.
senior play. I remember
I
you
was
in the
in the
senior
senior
play.
play.
What what
Yeah.
uh what was your first of all, so when you went to regionals and your senior year, what was it? I don't we had some dramatic play with Miss Hughes. I guess I didn't go with Miss BB in the senior. I guess I didn't
Right.
do
So
that.
like I said, Miss Hughes, she was our drama teacher up through our junior year,
Yeah.
but then she decided to, I don't think she didn't retire from teaching. I think she just retired from drama. But
Right, right. Okay.
anyway,
And so all right, so we were talking about the senior play. What was your
yeah.
character? You're like a uh
Some
not a
kind
not a
of
witch, magician
yeah, some
thing,
kind of uh what do you
spiritual.
call her? Yes, like I read fortunes
Oh yeah,
or
yeah, fortune teller type thing. Okay,
some kind of fortune teller or something like that.
all
Yeah.
right. And what do you recall about the whole process of senior play?
Yeah, senior play, it was a lot of fun. Always a lot of fun. The senior, and
Yeah,
that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be
yeah,
just a lot of fun. We did that there at the Wilbarger Auditorium,
yeah.
and I just remember it being a lot of fun. But I remember the character that you played, it was hilarious. And you and was it Chris Hudler that y'all played like these
It's
like
Roy
robbers?
Stolley. Yeah, Roy Stolley and
Oh,
I
Roy
were
Stoll, that's
we
right.
were
That was Roy.
Clarence and Monroe, the burglars, the bumbling
The
burglars or
burglars. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when I see Home Alone, I think of you. The burglars.
That's where he got it. That's where he learned his role. That's what
That's
the
where,
because
okay, that's where
because
he
the
got
real
it.
short guy and the real tall guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never that's never thought about that. Yeah, we were Home
Yeah.
Alone before Home Alone was a thing. Yeah.
Before it was a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. That's funny. All right, so tell me more about drill team. So what was because
Yeah.
you were like the head drill team
Senior
person or
year.
captain or
Yeah. Well, senior year, I was the captain. But drill team was a lot of fun. When we started, when we were sophomores, we had Marianne Rader. And she was tough,
yeah.
tough,
What does tough
tough.
mean?
But
What is
yeah.
what is tough? What would she say
Um,
or do that
well,
makes her
her
tough?
her most uh, the word that she said the most was again,
Again.
again.
Okay.
So we would be out there on the football field practicing on, our Monday nights in the evenings and
Oh
late, and
wow.
we would run through the routine and she would say, again, do it again. So that was she was tough, she wanted perfection. She
Yeah.
really did. She wanted perfection. I remember other thing about drill team besides, that was always fun to do the halftime show. And I thought our routines were very, very entertaining. But, we also got to, this is what I remember about my weekends is because we were assigned to a football player and had to make a scrapbook for the
Yeah.
football player. And so I remember every Sunday afternoon, I would be in my room listening to Casey Kasem, America's Top 40, and be working on the football scrapbook. And so that's also just part of the high school memories is that. And
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember which players you did for either your sophomore, junior, and senior years? Scrapbooks?
Yeah. So my sophomore year, I do not remember who I don't remember. I think I was just so nervous. I don't know.
Right.
My junior year, I did a scrapbook for Clint Brent's, and then my
Okay.
senior year, I did the scrapbook for Rob Bocart.
Did you? Wow.
I did.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
I was such a good player that I got two drill team people to do mine, Angie Leishman
Wow.
and Donna Holland. And they did a wonderful
Wow.
job for a guy that hardly ever, never played except for two games, but they did a great job.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
Yeah.
still have it. It's sitting up in the workout room, just sitting up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I think it's got a nice line on there. Uh,
Yeah.
so I didn't realize that you guys, I didn't know when you practiced. I just assumed like you had a something in the school. I knew at some point you had to get on the football field, but I didn't know when that it was on nights and
Yeah.
weekends or whatever. That I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah. So, we had a class period. They it was first period, I think, that we had drill team. And so there was that little gym
Yeah.
uh, that we had, and so that was kind of our area, and we practiced there. We had in because back in you probably didn't know this, but there was some storage rooms back there where we kept a lot of our equipment. Like a lot of times, our performances were using equipment, like we had suitcases or discs or tambourines or something like that.
Hula
And so,
hoops.
yeah, say that again.
Hula hoops.
First period we always practice, but yeah, every Monday night was our get out on the football field night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
turned on the stadium lights and we practiced until Marianne Rader quit saying again.
Again. You just waited for that. You guys at least you didn't have to run or anything like that, did you? You didn't get it right.
No, we didn't because we did, I don't know, we did enough because a lot of our routines that we did, we did high kicks and
Yeah.
yeah, all of that. We really thought we were something until we had to play Burke Burnett, and when their drill team came on, we were like, oh, okay.
What's wrong with what was with their drill team?
Oh, Burke Burnett, they were so good. They were
Oh
just
yeah?
really, really, yeah. But
Oh.
they had to try out to be in their drill team. You couldn't just join.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Well, we did well at Burke Burnett. We tied Burke Burnett, I think. Our team but
yeah.
tied Burke
I don't
that game.
remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. And
that's saying something.
that was a proud I think a proud moment for Coach Leo because we weren't that
Yeah,
great, but we tied Burke Burnett. And they had that big
yeah.
they had a big lineman, uh Sid something. Sid Chambers. They had Sid Chambers on their team.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
He went and played for Tech, I think. Anyways,
yeah.
all right. So when you guys travel, did you travel with the band or did you guys have your own bus? Because there was a lot of you. I
Well,
remember
there
a
was
lot
a
of
lot
people
of
too.
us. Yeah, our senior year we had 70. So there was a lot. No, we took our own buses.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And what were those trips like?
Oh, lots of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
think about, all these girls we didn't wear our uniform on the bus, but had on our shorts and t-shirt or whatever and changed into our uniform on the bus. But
Really?
hair, yeah, oh yeah, hair up in
Wow.
curlers and stuff like that. So, because we wanted to wear the makeup, and so yeah, we had our hair up in curlers until we got to the stadium wherever we were going, and yeah, then it was
Yeah.
showtime.
Showtime. Wow. To be a fly on the wall on that bus, man. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
when you guys were there any juniors that were officers or was it just seniors were officers?
Yeah, no, juniors could be squad leaders
Squad leaders.
and
Okay.
yeah, lieutenants is
All
what
right.
we call them. Yeah.
All right.
And so
Were you a
they were
lieutenant?
lieutenant, my junior
Yeah.
year.
All right.
Hmm.
Uh, and do you get voted or does Miss Rader pick? How does that
Yeah,
work?
so,
You
so you
try
had to
out for
try
that?
out. You had to try out to be a squad leader. And so you could
Okay.
try out at, your sophomore year, at the end of the sophomore year to become a junior lieutenant. But yeah, you had to try out and there were judges and you had to make up your own routine
Yeah.
and perform it. And yeah, there was a
Hmm.
line of judges that would judge and pick.
Your own routine with you picked your own song and did whatever you had to do to that song or
Pick
whatever?
your own song. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Wow.
Even though, yeah, so my junior year, I'm a squad leader, and so I'm going to try out, but I still had to try out for senior year squad leader. So just because you're a junior squad leader doesn't mean you'll make it senior year. But anyway, so I
Wow.
tried out for senior year, and yeah, I did my routine. I made up a routine to, I remember Cool in the Gang celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Huh.
was my song. Yeah.
All right. Good. Uh, okay. So you're in drama, in speech. Just your freshman year, or did you speech throughout
I did speech
school?
freshman and sophomore year. I don't remember doing it my junior year, but yeah, I did. I went to speech
The tournaments?
tournaments.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
remember that.
Yeah,
What was your what
freshman
in
and sophomore.
speech? What was your prose?
So
What
yeah,
did
I
you
did
do?
prose and I did monologues, dramatic monologues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thing.
You were a real speech person because I couldn't. I did the mime thing, and I remember doing uh, a rodeo, like a bronc rider or a bull rider mime.
Uh-huh.
Not good. Just bouncing around the.
I was gonna say, can you recreate that for us?
I may when I get interviewed, I might do that.
Yeah,
We'll see.
when you do
Yeah,
your interview,
yeah.
yeah, do
Y'all
that.
hold your breath, and we'll see if that happens.
Right,
Uh,
right.
all right. Well, that's interesting. All right. And so when I know we had some classes together, or other activities before we go to class work, other so drama, speech, drill team. I mean, I'm assuming that kept you pretty busy. What other activities were you in? Like, were you a
I,
future teachers?
no, I didn't join that organization. I mean,
Okay.
the only other organization I remember doing was like National Honor Society, which, that
Oh
was
yeah.
not a whole lot to that, but I mean, the until junior and senior year. But
Yeah.
yeah, those were pretty much the only. Uh, I mean, if you want to, this is really slim, but I did run cross country freshman year, but
Did
I don't
you?
know. Yeah, we don't want to talk about
We
that.
don't
We
talk
go
about
to the
that.
next question.
All right, I'll do that. We can talk later. After we stop recording, you can tell me all about it. Okay. And
Not much to tell.
I remember so your classwork. So who were some of the teachers that you remember that you got along with or
Yeah.
maybe didn't get along with?
Yeah, I remember that there's teachers that were tough, serious, like one of your former interviewees talked about Mrs. Miller. And
Yeah.
so I remember, yeah, so really that whole English department. So Mrs. Miller, like San Jones and Barbara Joe Hughes, and I don't dare call Mrs. Miller by her first name. It's
Right.
Mrs. You, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but that whole English department, they were tough, and but you really you learned a lot. And then there were teachers I remember that were, it was it was less serious. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And I remember this funny story when I was trying to think of things like to talk about with the questions that you posed. Is that you remember Cinda Scott? Yeah, we had her our freshman year for IPC, and she wasn't serious, and she wasn't hard on us, and there's a bunch of us that were in the class period together, and I don't remember who got it, but anyway, I mean, because Cinda left us alone more than she probably should have. But
Mhm.
there was this one time that she we were going to take a test. Somebody found the test, and it was matching. It was all matching. And so, we all looked at it, and we were trying to memorize, the matching, all the different letters. And so we decided to make an acrostic acronym. I don't,
Right.
whichever word is correct here, but, pick a word for each of the first letter.
Yeah.
And so our acrostic or acronym, it was go in John Daniels and get Brant Clifton's hearing ear.
That's
And
pretty that's
if
pretty good.
If you do all the first letters of each of those, then that was the test. So we all memorized our little acronym and we sat down and took our test, and we all got through the test lickety split and we all got 100. And she was like, okay, what's up? She was on to us so
Hmm.
bad. But anyway, so there were teachers that were they were fun though, but I didn't learn a thing in their class. No,
Yeah.
not
Mm.
a thing.
I remember. Go ahead. You about to say something?
Oh, I was going to say, and then of course on the other side of things on the math, it's Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember having him all and not all 4 years because our freshman year, Cleta Holt was
Miss
there
Holt. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Algebra 1. So I had her and then but I had Mr. Jones sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Yeah. I think we had him all 3 years together, and I remember he had certain phrases or words that he would use, and I think we would kind of mimic him and
Yes,
say the things that he like
yes.
the way he said paper. Was it paper?
Paper, I don't know, but
Do you have some paper? He said it in a funny way or a different way.
yeah, I'm wondering who in the classroom was always mimicking him.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
That and
and but the way that he would say Ray Gerald Ray.
I don't remember that. He
You
did?
don't remember
Ray
that?
Gerald
Yeah,
Ray?
yeah, because it
Uh,
was always Linda Fox, Linda.
oh, wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
you picked up on that kind of stuff. I didn't pick up. I just remember I remember him in June, something you wrote in my yearbook, something about in June, because he would say June and he would get real excited about stuff
Yes,
or whatever.
yes,
But
yes,
he was a good teacher too, as was
yeah,
Miss Holt. Good
yeah.
Spanish or were you in like Spanish or foreign language type stuff?
I wish I would have
Me
now,
neither, yeah.
but no, I didn't take any foreign language.
Okay. So
You know what? I take that
what
back. I took French. Oh my
French?
gosh, I can't believe I forgot about that. I took French with Miss Bristow.
Miss Bristow. All right. And
Yeah, I
so
forgot all about that.
do you still know any
Yeah,
French?
I absolutely not. Yeah.
Oui.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Right. We.
All I know is ho 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 ho. That's all I know. That doesn't get me anything, but all
Yeah.
right. So what impressions or what impact did your teachers have on you?
Well, actually, Mr. Jones had the most impact, I would say, because that's what kind of launched the direction of the career that I took. Here's the thing is that my goal was I wanted to be in National Honor Society. And in order to do that, you had to take an honors class every year. Well, I wanted to take honor science. However, Mrs. Rose was still there, and I was deathly afraid of Mrs. Rose. And I'm like, I'm not doing honor science.
Oh.
And then honors English, I was like, nah, absolutely not, because they read too much. And like they have to read extra novels. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it basically left, honors math to take an honors math class. So, taking honors math with Mr. Jones, which he did a good job of taking us above and beyond whatever was required at high school students at the time. And so I had so much, like I said, he really extended our learning and made us learn a lot of stuff that was above and beyond. Well, so my freshman year of college, I went to Hardin Simmons, had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do. In fact, I took an interest inventory test that, they give you to see, this is what you should, your career that you should do. And so my career choices, the top two, they were tied at the top two. And one of them was being a dental hygienist. And so I'm like, what does a farmer and a dental hygienist have to do to, I don't know, but that's what my interest survey
A
came out
farmer
to
or a
be.
dental hygienist?
Yeah.
Just they're
And,
right. I see them. They're right there
yeah,
together.
you can see the connection. You see the connection.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, but having so much math in high school, I said, I don't want to take another math class ever, ever. But my dean said, you have to take a math class, just take college algebra until you figure out what you want to do. I thought, oh my, okay. So I took a college algebra class there at Hardin Simmons, and our professor is Korean, and he has a very, very thick accent, and he is writing on the board from right to left. And so, I'm watching him and I'm taking notes, taking notes, taking notes. And everybody around me, they went, Psst, do you know what he's talking about? Do you know what he's doing? And I said, yeah, yeah, I know what he's doing. And they went, what dorm do you live in? And I told them, they said, we'll be at your dorm at 7 tonight. And I was like, okay. And so they all would come to the dorm, like sometimes we were outside, sometimes in the little waiting room in the lobby. And so I kind of tutored them through college algebra a little bit. And so I'm like, maybe I should do this for a living. And
Yeah.
so that's what it turned out to be, is that I became a math teacher. So thanks to Mr.
Wow.
Jones, who started it all. And I did. I would go back and tell him that. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's all because of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you never told him that we would kind of uh have fun with some of the things he said, you know? Did you ever share that with him?
I think he knew. I think he knew.
Linda Fox, Linda.
And yeah, yes, he said, I remember your class. He said y'all were a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a fun class.
Yeah,
What did you so you really didn't know your career when you left high school.
I
Uh
did not.
what did did you have any idea what you wanted to do besides I know you took the inventory but like in high school, were you even thinking about your future in high school?
Oh, see, in high school, like when I was trying to pick colleges and pick where I wanted to go, I almost went to the Art Institute of Dallas because I was going to be an interior designer.
Oh, wow.
That never panned out. That just never did work. And I thought, it's silly you. You never even took any art classes in high school. What are you thinking? And so but I thought I might pursue that. So and I almost applied to the Art Institute, but went to Art and Simmons
Wow.
instead. So,
Wow.
so yeah, didn't I had no idea what I wanted to do when I left high school. It took me
Okay.
a while.
All
Took me
right.
a while.
Let's talk about if you want like when you weren't doing drill team and acting and speech tournaments, uh, what were you doing? What's the typical day or weekend or night with in Linda's
So
life?
for me, yeah, outside of school, it was 4-H. And
Oh,
so I had show lambs and I had show lambs all through high school, except for I didn't do lambs my senior year. But the other thing I did is I had a show horse, and the show horse I got, we bought him when he was 2. Um, that was like in between my 8th grade and freshman year. And so what I really thought that I was going to do with him is that I thought I was going to run barrels on him. And so the more we worked with him, we found out, I mean, he was a really nice looking horse. And the more we worked with him, we found out, oh yeah, he's going to do really well at show. Show meaning doing Western pleasure, Western horsemanship, and stuff like that. So that's what I ended up doing with him. And so that was a big, like all summer long, going to a lot of different places to compete in show horse shows and stuff like that. So that was a big part of my outside of school.
now what is Western? What the things the events
Yeah.
you talked about with your show horse? What does that mean? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Right. So there's one event, it's called Western Pleasure, and that's where the judge judges just strictly the horse, um, judging his gait, and he should be like the term pleasure. He should be a pleasure to ride.
Okay.
And so
All
it
right.
should be like the writer should be making very little effort to, to ride this horse, and it should show up as the judge. There's also another event. It's called horsemanship, And that's where you ride a pattern, and the judge is judging the rider to see how well they handle the horse.
Oh,
And then there's also just halter, and that's where there's no saddle. You walk your horse out there like you do the show lambs and all that other
right.
stuff, and you show your horse. And so is the judge is judging just strictly the horse.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I learned something today about what that is.
Yeah.
And so did you ever get a grand champion or anything with your lambs?
Oh, not with my lambs, no.
No?
But
No?
they brought me some money.
Yeah. All
So
right. Well,
yeah, it was
good.
good.
All right.
Yeah.
And what did 4-H teach you?
Oh, a lot of responsibility because even though I had to be the one to work my lambs, to feed my lambs, same thing with the horse is that, and it's, about like training animals is that, that what it takes to actually train an animal, making the animal do what you want it to do. And so that taught me a lot of
Oh,
patience, lots
patience.
of patience.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you a patient today? You're a patient person today?
Uh, I'm more patient today.
All right. Well, good. Uh, you've been patient at being patient. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So walk us through the first few years after graduation. So you went right to Hardin Simmons?
Yeah, freshman year went to Hardin Simmons for that fall semester. And then I joined the organization. So Hardin Simmons has a horse riding group. They call it the Six Whites.
Okay.
And they're very similar to the Palomino Club. So they run drills and, at rodeos, parades, all that kind of stuff. It's just that at Hardin Simmons, it was six white horses.
Okay.
And so had to try out for it and everything. And so anyway, so I would join that. And while in the spring, and we went to lots of parades and rodeos and stuff like that.
All
In
in
the
Texas?
spring, uh-huh,
Okay.
yeah. In the spring, a couple of the girls were talking about that they were going to try out for this local pageant for being for a rodeo queen pageant. And so they were, buzzing, buzzing, buzzing about it. And so they said, "Hey, Linda, we dare you to try out. We dare you. Bet you won't do it." And I was like, "All right. If you're gonna dare me, okay." And so I was like, I'll do it too. So because and you had to ride your because for a rodeo queen pageant, it's not about the swimsuit competition. It's about being able to ride a horse. And
Okay.
so I had to call my dad and say, "Hey, bring me a horse. I'm going to try out for this queen's contest." And he said, "What?" I was like, I know. I said, "Just bring me a horse." Anyway, so like I said, it was in Abilene. It was a local Abilene pageant and everything, and so I end up winning it. And he said, "Oh, and by the way," he says, "now that you've won, you have to go try. You have to go to the Miss Rodeo Texas pageant." I was like, Okay. I said, he said, "Don't you worry." He said, because he owned a Western wear store there in Abilene. And he said, "I'm going to outfit you." He said, "But I want all the clothes back after the pageant's over." So I remember putting tape on he gave me boots, hat, everything. And I remember putting tape on the bottom of the boots so I wouldn't get them scuffed up. So, I could bring them back and resell them and everything. So
Wow.
I get to the Miss Rodeo Texas pageant, and there's 40 girls who are trying for the title. And, I know nothing. I mean, they have all been down this road before.
Yeah.
They have experience at this particular pageant, and I know not, I'm just really watching and observing and everything. Anyway, yeah, so I end up winning Miss Rodeo Texas. And so the guy the Western Wear owner, he came just to see how it was going to turn out for me. And he got so excited. He said, "Just keep all the clothes. Just keep all the clothes." And I was like, "Okay."
Okay, if I have to.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember there being a write-up or something like that in the newspaper, and I said, "What? Linda's a what? Miss Texas what? Rodeo? What is that all about?" So that's
Yeah, yeah.
cool. All right.
It was cool. That was I know one of your questions that you had on your your form was like, when did you feel like you grew up? And I'm like, that's the year that I grew up
Yeah.
because I traveled alone. But I traveled all over the state for various reasons. I was gone all the time. And so, you remember that in those days, we didn't have a GPS. And so it was,
Right.
I had to figure out how to get from town to town, and even within the town, how to get to these places where they were telling me to go. And so, I mean, it really made me grow up fast, and introduce yourself to your sponsor, all kinds of things. So it was a growing up year for me for sure.
Yeah.
And so, because I was gone so much, that my freshman year, that was in the spring of our freshman year of college. And so I was gone so much, I had to lay out of college for a year. So
Mhm.
I was behind a year as far as graduating within 4 years or whatever. But anyway, so I took off for a year.
Okay. What is the as part of your travels, what are the duties of Miss Texas Rodeo? What did you have to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. So, I would have a sponsor at all the different towns that I sponsor, meaning that they would pay for my expenses or would pay for my hotel and my food and
Yeah.
gas. And that's pretty much it. But like it might be going to the local dealership where they have a stand-up radio host who's like, "Hey, come on down to, the dealership and, get you a raffle ticket or get you a ticket for the rodeo tonight or whatever. Hey, and meet Miss Rodeo Texas while you're down here." And so it was just kind of mingling with the people that were there. Or it, of course, it was always parades and riding in the rodeo, carrying the flag, stuff like
Okay.
that. But it was like, for example, and a lot of it when I would go to the towns, some of it was fabulous. It was fun. I met a lot of really famous people, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
about that one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's sometimes that I would go to places that I was like, okay, we need to hurry up and get past this one. Like during the state fair, Dallas used to have a rodeo, and it was 7 days.
Oh,
And so the guy who sponsored me, he wanted me to stay there all 7 days. And so while I was there, he was the owner, franchise manager of a lot of the McDonald's in Dallas. And so he would always have me going to a different McDonald's at noon every day, to kind of encourage hey, get an ice cream cone from Miss Rodeo, Texas. Come on out. So, or I would give out tickets for the kids to get into the Midway, and that meant parents had to pay to get their kid
mm.
in. Anyway, so it was that. But every day I was at a different McDonald's, and every day he would feed me. And to this day, today, I do not eat McDonald's hamburgers.
You've had
I
your
do
fill of
not.
McDonald's hamburgers?
Yeah, because that was
Wow.
one of those instances that I'm like, okay, we need to hurry up and get through
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Wow.
stuff like that. But I said that I would tell you about, I got to meet a lot of really famous people too.
Yeah.
There was one time in San Antonio that they were doing a fundraiser for the rodeo, and it was held in the Coliseum. And so they had two artists that were singing, and so I was modeling fur coats to be sold for auction. And so the two artists that were singing was Tanya Tucker,
Wow.
yeah, and then the other one was George Strait.
No
And so
way.
yeah, and so the fur coats that I had to model, the rack that I had my model, they were in George's dressing room
Okay.
with George and all of his band members. And so like I would go out, model a coat, sell it, auction, I'd come back in and he'd say, "Hey, how much did you get for that coat?" He'd high five me. And so then I would put on another coat and then go out and model that. And, "Hey, how much did you get on that one?" High five. So it
Oh,
was a lot of fun, but I was
that's
like,
cool.
I'm here with George Strait.
Yeah. And so this is 83-ish,
Yeah,
right?
that was
83 time
83.
frame? All
Yeah.
right. So he has just been on scene a couple of years, I guess, but and he
Yeah.
had, yeah,
He
okay.
was
Cool.
rising to fame rapidly. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not real tall, is he?
No, not real
No?
tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we took pictures together and I'm probably about his height. He's a little bit taller than me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Other famous people you met?
Oh, lots of other famous people that people in rodeo world would know.
Oh, okay.
They would know, but probably that's probably my most famous person that I met.
That's pretty famous. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So after you're done, so there's nothing you tried after Miss after
So you do,
that.
yeah, yeah, you do go on to Miss Rodeo America,
Oh, okay. Did you
and
get
so
that? Did you get that one too?
I did not get that one.
Oh,
Made it to the
but
top 10.
top 10. All right. So you can say I'm a top 10 Miss, what is it? Miss Rodeo America?
Hmm.
Wow, Miss Rodeo America. All right. And so where was that held? Where was that competition held?
So that one was held in actually it's in Oklahoma City, and they've since have moved it to Las Vegas. In fact, they moved it,
Oh,
just a couple of years after that. But it was in Oklahoma City, and it's funny because to drive from Vernon to Oklahoma City, not very far. So I took my own pickup and I had my horse trailer full of all my clothes. And so I drove the shortest distance to get to the Miss Radio America pageant
wow.
in Oklahoma City.
So
Yeah, even
did you have
shorter than
to,
Miss Oklahoma. Yeah, Miss Oklahoma, she lived far, far away from Oklahoma City.
did you have to, so part of your traveling as part of Miss Rodeo Texas, you were riding a horse and all that too? You had to take your own horse?
Hmm. I
No.
couldn't. There was
Oh,
only one time that I took my own horse because it was a short distance away from
oh,
Vernon.
okay.
But so because there was no time for me to keep it or to find a place to keep it, to
Yeah.
feed it, and there just wasn't any
Okay.
time to for that. So every time I would go to a rodeo, and that's the other thing I had to do about growing up is, introduce myself to the stock contractor and ask him, could I borrow a horse?
Hmm.
And so there were the stock contractors that I got to know pretty well, and some of them not so well. But anyway, one of in fact, it was the stock contractor for years and years. He would bring his stock to the Santa Rosa. It was Benny Butler, and we were in Abilene at a rodeo, and it happened to be a reunion type rodeo. So it was big anniversary, and all the pioneer guys, all the men, they all wanted to ride in the grand entry. So I go up to Benny and I say, "Hey Benny, do you have a horse for me?" And he said, "Tell you what," he said, I hate to do this to you, but all the pioneer guys, these old men, they took all my good horses. All of it. He says, I have this one horse left. He said, "Now I'm not going to, I won't lie to you that he used to be in my bucking string, but I took him out because some days he would buck, some days he did not." And he said, just don't, he said, "But that's the only horse I got left." And I was like, okay, I'll take it. And that was the day that he was decided that he wanted to buck.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he bucked with me all the way down to the end of the arena because they would introduce me separately, like it
Right.
wasn't just riding in the grand entry, it was like run, full speed riding out there. So full speed, I take him out and he starts bucking with me, and I
Um,
get down to the other end of the arena, and I come off of there,
oh,
and I just, I'm so embarrassed and everything.
yeah.
But Roy Cooper, which he's another famous guy, Roy Cooper said, "I give her an 85 right there." Yeah.
Do you still have your, did you have to wear a sash type, Miss, Miss Rodeo
Yeah.
Texas? Yeah. You still
Yeah.
have that? Yeah.
I
And a
have,
crown? You have a crown?
well, I had a crown, but they made it special for Texas because it's cut out in the shape of Texas
Yeah.
and has rubies all over it. But I didn't get to keep that. That's something that was passed down to the next girl. But the sash, yeah, I kept one or two. See, in at my house in Vernon, I'm the youngest of the siblings, and so my brother's room, we turned that into my closet, and we had to. I mean, because that room was just packed with all clothes that people just wanted to give you because I was a walking advertisement because people would
Yeah.
ask me, "Oh, what are you wearing?" So people would always want to give me clothes to advertise for them. Anyway, so yeah, I kept a few items, but not, I
Hmm.
tried to give it away to the next girl.
All right. All right. So you ready to move into college now? Ready to talk about
Sure.
college? All right.
Okay.
So back to a year out or some time off and back to Hardin Simmons?
I did not. I
Oh,
decided because is after that I did decide. I said, I think I am going to pursue this math education degree, and so I went to WT because
okay.
there were some others ahead of me who had done the math education degree, and so
And
I
WT
knew
being West Texas State University at the time, and now West Texas A&M?
now
Or,
West Texas A&M go bus.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
and so that
that's Midwestern's
I
rival.
know. Okay. So I went there, finished school there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you're a bachelor's in that's education or elementary
Yeah,
education? What's
well,
your
right. It's called Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education
secondary? Okay.
for math.
All right.
Yeah.
And so what did you do? Any activities or things you were doing in college involved in or just going to
Um,
school?
I mean, there was a few organizations that I joined while I was there at WT, but not a lot, but it
Hmm.
is fun.
Were you
It's
sorority? Did they have sororities there? I think.
they did, but I didn't. I mean, I'm already
Yeah, you're
sophomore
older.
and
Yeah.
and already like the people that are my age are already juniors, and so yeah,
Hmm. Okay. All
yeah.
right. So what happens after college? You get a degree and then what?
Yeah, so then I took my first teaching job in Weatherford, Texas, and
Oh.
taught middle school math while I was there. And yeah,
And how
that
long have
that
you been
was
in
that
Weatherford?
was my first teaching job.
Yeah. What was that like with kids? Your first year? What was that teaching there?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So I was bound and determined that I did not want math to be boring, and so I was bound and determined to make it interesting, make it fun, and so I tried my best to do that. Your first year, you don't know a
Mhm.
thing, but yeah, but I tried. So
Yeah.
that
And
was
then
my first teacher.
and how long in Weatherford?
So I was only there a year because this boy called me up and asked me out on a date, and I finally said yes, and then history was made after that. So then we moved.
Then you moved. And where'd you move to?
So we lived in New Mexico for a while, and
Yeah.
then yeah, and then we were on a ranch in New Mexico, and then we came back to Texas and lived kind of close to the Fort Worth area, a little bitty tiny town. It's called Rio Vista, and so
Rio
we lived.
Vista. I've
Uh-huh.
been through there. Is
Yeah, yeah.
that down by Cleburne kind of
By
there?
Cleburne.
All
Yeah.
right.
So then I took a teaching job at Cleburne High School,
Okay.
and yeah, taught there a year, and then we eventually moved to Stephenville, and yeah, started having kids, and so I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Until we had our three kids, took a job in Vernon, and so I moved back to Vernon in 94.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then I started teaching at Vernon Middle School and then Vernon High School
All right. And you taught in Vernon
eh,
from 94 till
till 2013.
all right. And did you retire at that time or just no?
No, and now I'm still
Okay.
not retired. And so in 2013, I took a job at Burt Burnett School
Herb
District.
Burnett. Oh my
I
gosh,
know.
rivals. Whew.
I know. It
Okay.
listen, putting on the orange and black with the first week, it was tough. It was really really tough.
I can imagine. Hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, and so that's where I still am at. So I'm
Okay.
still working at Burke School District. I don't teach, but so when I took a job in at Burke, I was an instructional math coach for the teachers there.
Really? A coach.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we talked about that. Like, coaching, your coaching and my coaching
Yeah.
experience. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. So, before we talk about, well, let's go with coaching right now. So, what does that coach do for,
Yeah.
what do
So,
you do for them?
well, I was hired to work with the secondary teachers. Here's the thing. At the time that I was hired, the Burke, their math scores were in the tank. And so superintendent said, let's get some coaches. Nobody in the region had ever had an instructional coach. It's very popular now, and a lot of
Yeah.
school districts have it now, but at the time, no one had it. So I was hired to work with secondary teachers, and they did not like that. It was
We know how
bad.
to teach. Yeah, we know how to teach. We don't need somebody coming
Exactly.
here and
I
telling me how
mean,
to do this.
that's the thing is that they didn't know me. They didn't know anything about me, and so it was they were
Except you're from Vernon.
except that I was from yeah, and I was like, oh. Uh, but anyway, they weren't real receptive, and so we kind of switched around. I said, "Please, can I have some elementary teachers? Because they're way more nicer." So I did. I worked with several elementary teachers for a little while.
That might be even, I wonder if that's even better to, get those kids and they're teaching differently and maybe that helps them as they move up. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
that's good reasoning. Good logic on that.
yeah.
So what was it like coming back to Vernon and teaching and being part of the school district there, having, been a product of Vernon Independent School District? What was that like?
Yeah, so I mean, it really was good because here's the thing about growing up in Vernon in a small town is that yes, we would know each other, but we knew each other's parents as well because they were the business owners or they worked in the shops or
Yeah.
we knew who they were. And so like coming back to Vernon, like the administrators, the principals and stuff like that, you already know them, and it's like, I remember you, you know. Anyway, and
Yeah.
so that was kind of it was a good way to get into the system and just
Hmm.
go.
Okay.
Um, and so like, I told you I was bound and determined not to make math boring and to make it fun. And so my very first year at middle school, the lady that was the math department head, she was trying to tell me how to do everything, and I just listened. And so anyway, but my classroom, I did a lot of stuff that was off the cuff. Like I would take the kids outside and we would shoot rockets, from film canisters, and we would graph the trajectory of
Oh, wow.
of these rockets, or either that or we would I had them doing race building parachutes, and we would go to the middle school gym and drop these parachutes, and again we would graph the results of what's going on. Anyway, so the math department head, she went to the principal, who was Bill Ballou at the time,
Hmm.
and she told him, she said, she needs to stop. She's not doing worksheets like us.
Oh.
And I can hear them in the room. They're making noise. And so anyway, and he said, okay, I'll talk to her. I'll talk to her. Well, at the end of the school year, he made me department head.
Yeah. God forbid you have fun in math or any
I mean,
subject.
yeah, that was how terrible, terrible to have fun in math was. But
Oh.
even today, whenever I see students that I did have, which years ago, there's this one thing that they do remember, and it's this one thing that I made up, and I called it Finance Friday. And I just made it up, but it was a way to get them to use their math. But so, they had to go through, it was just making life choices, and they had to pick a career, and they had to pick a job, pick a place to live. And, it was just going through and doing life budget. And so every week they had a choice to make. Every week is like, do you want car insurance today? It's like, oh no. And so next week, oh, oops, you had a wreck. Sorry.
Yeah.
And, so it was just making choices week after week. And so to this day, I still see former students and they'll like, I remember Finance Friday. They
Yeah.
remember nothing else about my class, but they do remember Finance Friday. And I'll tell you, like, having three kids, I taught all three of my kids as they were coming through middle school. And so one of the things that I did is that they would get mail on one of the Finance Fridays. And so they picked out their own envelope. And in the envelope, it might be something good, like here's an extra $50 cash, or wow, you won the lottery, or sometimes I would put pink slips in the
Oh.
envelope. Yeah, and so my oldest daughter, that's the one she got, and she still remembers that, and she still blames. She said, "You gave me a pink slip." I said, "I didn't give it to you. You
Right,
picked it."
right, right.
But she
Wow.
remembers that. Yeah.
What was that? What's that like teaching your own children in school? What's that
Oh,
like?
yeah. So okay, all three of them were really, really different. Like my oldest daughter, she said before school started, she said, okay, listen, you don't see me, don't call on me. I'm not there. I'm just invisible in your classroom. I was like, okay, all right. So I tried to treat her as such. Well, then my son came through a couple of years later, and I think the same thing. I'm supposed to ignore him. And so about a week into school, we at the dinner table, he said, "Mom, why don't you ever call on me? I know the answer all the time, and you never call on me." I'm like, okay. And then the next year, my youngest daughter, she comes through and it's like, it's the first day of class. And like these kids they've grown up together. I don't have to do any of the get to know you games or any of
Right.
that kind of stuff. But I was going to do a fun little activity. And so, I mean, as soon as they come into the class, I said, okay, get out a sheet of paper and a pencil. And my youngest daughter, she folded her arms and she looked at me like, I thought this class was going to be fun. And I said, "Oh, you and I will talk after
Yeah,
class."
yeah.
But see, she didn't realize I was really going to do something fun with them, but they needed a piece of paper to do it. And so
Yeah,
they're all three, they were all just really different, but it was a lot of fun.
yeah. Interesting. Good. You're currently the coach? What's the title?
Actually, yeah, I'm not coaching anymore. So
Okay.
I currently am I'm the test coordinator. I know that sounds boring to a lot, and people are like, "Ooh, yeah, no, not for me." But I coordinate because it's all about following rules and organization and stuff like that. And so I coordinate all the testing for the district. And there's a lot of software programs that our teachers use that I manage those for the teachers. And I mean, there's a lot of other hats that I wear, but anyway, yeah, I'm not in the classroom and not coaching. I work a lot with the principals and the superintendents and stuff like that.
Okay. And so what do you see for your future moving since from this point forward? Is retirement close, or are you just still going to go until you're done,
Yeah.
or what?
I mean, I kind of have a goal, but I've got three grandkids at the moment, one on the
Oh,
way. And
congratulations.
so, yeah, but thank you. However, they live far, far away from me.
Oh,
Uh, I have my oldest daughter and her husband. They have two kids. They live in Kentucky,
wow.
and yeah, I have my son and his wife. They live in Austin, and then my youngest daughter and her husband. They have one on the way. They live in Orlando.
Wow.
So I would say that yes, I want to retire and play grandma, but that would mean traveling
Yeah,
quite a
yeah.
bit,
Wow, okay.
which I do every chance that I get. But thank goodness for FaceTime, so I can FaceTime the grandbabies.
Yeah, that's awesome. Isn't grandparenthood wonderful? It's like the
Yeah,
best, right?
yeah,
Uh,
it's a lot of fun.
who would have thunk it? So whenever you do retire, will you retire in Burnett, Vernon, or somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Hmm.
It's like it's wherever the Lord wants me to land. That's where I will be. So
Okay.
I don't have an answer for that one just yet.
But that's probably a pretty good plan, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what relationships or friendships have you maintained since your high school relationships, friendships?
Yeah, I mean a few, not real close with the others, but every once in a while, I'll see some of them, but not super close. I mean, I'm friends with some that are younger than us,
Okay.
but yeah, within our class, just it's kind of at a distance. But anyway,
Okay. Uh, with some of those relationships that you were friends with in high school that you no longer have, what has that taught you about relationships or friendships?
yeah. And that's the thing because like about building relationships now is that, and I guess that's one thing that I'm jealous about, like of guys that they seem to do a really good job of maintaining long-term friendships and relationships. But I get to where, like even now, the relationships that I have with other women with is that they get caught up and so busy with raising children or grandkids because they are running the house and they're running the whatever with the kids, and so sometimes even the relationships I have with other women who have kids, maybe teenagers at home, they sometimes our stuff gets put on the back burner because their kids come first.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing about relationships is that, yeah, I know that they come and go, but it's just like you and I talking. It's like here it is 40 something years and it's still, we
Yeah.
pick it right back up again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the good thing about it. That's how you know when friends are friends. It's just like it was yesterday. Seems like
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Um, is there a one lesson in the season of your life or something you either want to do over or taught you a big lesson?
Yeah. Huge lesson. So, I'm not a superstitious person, but I would say 2013 was a really bad year for me. So the year started, my husband filed for divorce. Our kids were now all gone off to college. So the youngest one went off to college. So it was an empty nest. It was a
Mm,
real empty nest.
yeah.
And then that's when I took the job and I changed jobs and went to work at Burke. And whenever I say that the secondary teachers weren't just real friendly, they were mean. They were really mean to
Mm,
me.
mm,
Uh, and the other thing is like during that summer, a friend of mine, she had just finished up working on her master's, and she said, "Here, Linda, you've got to work on your master's degree, and so I'm going to help you get it started. Here's how, your application and everything." So she's helping me fill out the application. And I said, "So what do I do if they reject my application?" She said, "Don't be silly. They're not going to reject your application. They want your money." And so, so I turn in and fill out the application, turn it in, and I get the letter back that says, "We regret to inform you that we have," and I was like, so was rejected getting into, yeah, I know, but it turns out better later. And then that fall, my oldest brother passed away.
Mm,
And so it's like every facet of my life, there was loss.
mm,
And so, like I said, 2013, I mean, that happened all with just in a matter of months. And so emotionally, I was a wreck. I
mm.
was just broken. And, you've heard the saying is that when Jesus is all you have, you realize that he's all you need.
Yeah.
And so even though everything about my life was broken at the time, it was exactly where he wanted me to be. I had always had a relationship with the Lord. It's just that it was distant and it was a consumerism, like I'll get you when I need you.
Yeah.
And so that drastically changed. And so I mean, that at the end of that year, because I was turning 50, I decided to go in and do the colonoscopy, but I was having stomach issues, of course. And so he said, well, let me do an upper GI. And so he showed me the pictures afterwards. And, your stomach lining and all the linings, it should be that pretty pink color. And he said, mine was solid black.
Hmm.
And I said, what does this mean? Do I have cancer? And he said, no. He said, I don't think it's cancer. And so I thought, I know what it is. Because had swallowed all those losses and, everything, because I knew that there was so much turmoil going on inside of me. But what I learned from that was a life lesson, is that, God says that when you seek me with all your heart, you will find me. And that's no lie. And so, I
Hmm.
mean, I sought him with all of my heart. And it drastically, that was the only way that I could get healed. And the only way that I could is like I just poured myself into reading the Bible, because that was the only thing that brought me peace. And that's where I found him. And he has been so faithful in bringing me out of that. And it's been 13 years later, but he was faithful in healing me and getting me through that process. And so huge life lesson for me there.
Wow, glory be to God. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. I had no idea about all that. Um, so how would
I
you
did.
just,
I was able to go back and get my master's though,
yeah?
because I tell you what it was is that I called them and asked them why reject my application, and they said, well, because you made a C in Calculus 3 in college. And I was like, I am very proud of that C in
Yeah, it's
Calculus 3.
passing.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm really proud of that C. But anyway, so eventually they allowed me in. But, I had to, like, where that C came from is that as I'm graduating our senior year, I am doing my student teaching. And the guy who is my supervising teacher, he said, all right, it's all yours. He says, in this little class right here, he said, they're probably doing calculus 3 from college. And I was like, I was like, I'm taking it in night school right now. And so I had them in class and I said, look, guys, I can't teach you anything. I said, I'm taking calculus 3 as a night class. And they went, bring us your homework. We'll help you with the homework. And I said, you're on.
All
So
right.
yeah, but anyway, was able to finally get through college and get through getting my master's degree after I convinced them. It was a good thing.
All right. All right. Well, congratulations on that. And
Yeah.
where did you get your master's from?
UT Arlington.
UT Arlington. All right. That's where my son graduated from. So,
Yay.
all right. Go Mavs, right? Mavericks. Yeah. Go
Maverick.
Mavs.
Yeah.
All right. So what was your idea of success in high school, and has that changed to today? Your
Yeah.
definition of success.
Yeah. I thought success in high school was all the people, the smart people who that was a ticket to anywhere, anything, if you got the good grades. So I thought, you're on your way. And so what's different now is like being in education and seeing it, especially at that, and what we know about students is that if we can plug them into some kind of group, some kind of organization, they're more likely to graduate from high school than those
Mhm.
who don't join anything. And so to
Mhm.
me, that's kind of success, is that, you find your little community of people and you stick with them and do that and go there. And so that's why, like at Burke, we try to bring in every kind of organization we can, and we try to plug those kids into it.
That's great. Awesome. Cool. Good. Um, so what has parenthood, how has that impacted you, and grandparenthood? How has that impacted you or changed you, if at all?
Yeah. Um, it's I won't say it was easy. It was pretty tough because my kids were born in 90,
Mhm.
93, 94.
Ooh, they're all right. Man, you're running around busy with little
Mhm.
ones.
Yeah, and that's why I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. But anyway, but parenthood, what I like about parenthood is seeing them get to the next stage
Yeah.
and seeing them advance and seeing them, grow a little bit. And that's been a real joy to watch them get to the next that next stage of life, and
Yeah.
now to watch them turn around and do that with their kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Uh, so what part of Vernon or VHS, the culture, values, the community, how has that played a part in who you've become?
Yeah. I think it's because like I said, we when we were going through school, like we knew each other, but we also knew each other's parents. And so uh, that that real sense of community and being able to call on somebody for help when you needed the help. Um, you know, I didn't move to Vernon until the middle of my seventh grade year. And
Oh.
my dad, he was a pastor at Calvary Baptist,
Hmm.
and we moved there in like during Christmas break of our seventh grade year. In
Oh.
fact, yeah, I was all ready to go to school, and we came from San Antonio, so we had
Okay.
all of my whole, not my whole life, but all of my elementary years, I spent in San Antonio. And so when we moved to Vernon, I was excited about going to school. It was the first day back after Christmas break, and it was a snow day. So I was like, "Who
What is
has
this?
snow days?
What
Where
is
did this
this?
come from?" Yeah. So
Wow.
anyway, but you kind of learn to plug in, and you learn as your parents are also friends with other parents, is that you know that you can call on people for help. And
Yeah.
so even that's the values that I appreciate about Vernon, is that you can go and ask somebody for help. Like I still bank at a bank in Vernon.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I still, like when I do go to Vernon, it's still, you still talk to the parents of
Hmm.
our parents and everything, the ones that are still alive and still living
Yeah.
there. So that's
Yeah.
the values, is that small community.
Yeah. It's you go back home, being I just assumed that I normally ask people that, are you from Vernon, that sort of thing. So I just assumed that you were uh a Vernonite from birth.
No,
Wow.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah, not till seventh grade.
Ah, okay, that's great. And you talk about that. I can remember your mom when I was working at United in 83 to 86, 87. Your mom was always so nice to me. She said, "Hey Ray, how are you doing?"
Uh-huh.
Just super sweet. Same, and Susan Spears' mom was
Yes.
the same. Those were the two women that always said, "Ray, how he knew me by name," and for whatever
Yeah.
reason was always very nice. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Uh, well, is there something about your journey that's on the surface, or I mean, that's not on the surface, that you would want people to know about you, that you think, man, they could understand what kind of where you are, you know, what's been going on?
Since high school or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, this question wasn't on the list.
Yeah, it
Yeah, so
was.
I have to give this one some thought. Um, I guess that people, because I didn't portray this in high school. Like I said, my relationship with the Lord it was surface. I was a consumer, and that's how I was then. And
Being a
maybe
preacher's
that's not.
kid too. Yeah,
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 that's not
yeah,
something that they know about me now,
yeah,
is that I am very passionate about Jesus. And um, anyway, would want to see people also figure that out too,
yeah,
not just
yeah.
keep that for myself, but I would want everyone to figure out and to really know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Uh, and if so, what do you hope that your story teaches or inspires others?
Yeah, like I shared about the one, the bad year I had, that's not the only bad year I've had, but life has those ups and downs, but that there is, it's really, really tough to see the joy in that pain. But I guarantee you that, that the Lord is faithful to bring you through that. Or He can if you let Him. It and it's that life is going to it's going to be tough. Life is hard, and so it's that bringing that into like keep on going,
Yeah.
persevere,
Yeah.
persevere.
Great.
Yeah,
Persevere. Great. Yeah. It's tough to have that joy when things aren't going your way, you know. Uh,
it's real tough.
all right. All right. So, you're writing a letter to Linda back in high school. What would you tell Linda?
I don't think Linda would listen very much at whatever I told her. She wouldn't listen to
Hmm.
anything I had to say. Uh, but I think I would tell her to enjoy the moment because I am one of those that, I like to plan ahead, and so I was always looking for the next best thing. And always, okay, so plan that, rent it, but I was always looking to see, okay, what's coming next. And so to allow myself to, hey, it's like, hey, just enjoy it, rest in it and stop looking ahead or stop thinking ahead of what's the next thing.
Hmm.
Just enjoy the moment, enjoy
Yeah.
it and live in the moment.
That's great. It's awesome. Great advice for Linda and everyone else listening. Um, is there anything that either I haven't asked or that's on your heart pressing that you want to share? Part of your
Um,
journey?
I mean, I'm really, really enjoying listening to the other ones that you've had, and can't wait to hear some of the others. Because, like I said, it's you think you know somebody, and
Yeah. Or
you
you
think
knew
you
them?
yeah,
Yeah.
you think you knew them and what they were like and what they were about, and like you had Jay Galden on just the other day, and it's like when I saw that it was going to be Jay, I was like, oh, this is going to be funny.
That's what I thought.
And
Yeah.
and so I mean that's the thing is that you think you know somebody and then you find out that they have the ups and downs and pluses and minuses and it's like wow, it just makes you say wow. Just
Yeah.
makes you say wow.
Yeah. All
So
right. Well,
I'm looking forward to all the next ones so I can say wow about whoever else comes on.
yeah, I am too. And these are, telling somebody the other day, these are very, almost therapeutic for me just to, I didn't realize that my experience interviewing people in my career would kind of translate into this.
Yeah.
It's different than interrogating people but
Yeah.
it's just fun because I have a curiosity about what was going on for them in these
Yeah.
things. And so, and people have been very receptive to it and positive feedback, and it's good. So
Yeah.
people have been like yourself have been saying, "Hey, these are
Yeah.
great." So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. So that means you have to keep going. You can't quit.
Okay, well, I don't plan on it,
Okay.
with the Lord willing. So I appreciate you sharing that and sharing your faith story as well. I think that's very important for people to get from these messages. And I'm finding that there is a faith component to a lot of people's stories.
There
Uh,
is a thread that's
yeah,
going through, and it's kind of funny is that, oh, okay, when you get to the age that we are, you kind of figure out what's really important in life.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, Linda, I have appreciated you talking with you and hearing your story. It's been great. I'm happy for you and proud that just to know you, that I know a rodeo queen, and that you have been very transparent, open about at least the 1 year of struggle, and that how God has worked in your life and is
Mhm.
working in your life, and with your family and how things are going. So that's great in your career. Sounds like things have been, as I tell people, life is good even when it seems like it's not.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Uh, so I just want to say thank you and thank everybody for listening on this episode of In a Flash, the years go by, and they really do. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thanks, Ray. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of In a Flash, the Years Go By podcast. If today's conversation reminded you of home, of Lion Pride, or of a chapter in your own life's journey, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, share the episode with another Lion, and keep spreading that Vernon Lion spirit wherever you are. And if you'd like to be a guest or nominate someone with a story worth telling, reach out. We all would love to hear from you. And until next time, remember, Lions, Lions, we back you, says the class of '82.
If we